Hello students, this is Gags, and we're going to create this short video exploring the dictionary option inside of the solve function for Sage. And so we'll continue the problem that we were working on in a previous video here. We were solving a linear system of equations. It's a 2 by 2 system. Our two equations are right here on lines 12 and 13. X plus y is equal to 5, x minus 2y is equal to 8. And we just kind of went the default route, if you will, for the solve command. So we have solve, we set equal to a variable. One thing you can do in Sage is figure out what the type of things are. And so you can see that right now that solution variable is a generic sequence. And there's kind of two square brackets there. And so one thing you could do is go to the first subscript of it. And if I go and set this equal to a variable, we'll say temp is equal to the solution subscript 0. What is temp now? You can see it is, oops, not type, but there we go. It is a list, and then inside of that list, we would have each individual value, and so that's where we can go in here and say, well, temp, the first item in that list is the 0 there, or as you saw before, we could just use the two subscripts there, the first one to get inside of the sequence, second one inside of the list there. That gets a little bit complicated in my opinion, so the question is there possibly an easier way to do it? And so you might find the dictionary way a little bit easier. And so by dictionary, what am I talking about? Well, if you show the documentation inside of Sage and scroll down through here, there's an option that has to do with dictionaries, and so it's right here on the input side. You can tell you the default value is false, but what it'll do is it'll turn a list of dictionaries containing the solutions. And so a dictionary is a data structure in the Python programming language. And it's sort of like an array, except there's not really order in it. Basically, each record or element inside of the dictionary contains two parts, a key and a value. And so you have to know the key in order to access the value. And I'll show you how that works inside of this example. And so we'll just comment a line here, dictionary example. And we'll just solve the same thing. I'll say solution 2 is equal to solve, and we'll use the same system. So at this point, you can see the solution 2 here, just to show that we're coming up with similar results. Let's go ahead and show it. And you can see we have the exact same lines here on 16 and 28. And also if we did type right now, we'd know that that is a generic sequence. What we're going to change this a little bit by putting another comma after the y and putting solution underscore dict equals true, and then show it. And so you'll notice a little bit different output here on line 16 and 28 now, because here we have a sequence, I believe, or a list, and inside of the list we have a dictionary. And so let's look at this, and so here we'll say type solution 2 just to check and see what we have here. You can see it's a list, and so the list is containing this dictionary. That dictionary is what is in the curly braces there. And so we want the first element in the list. And so one thing we could say here is that the dictionary solution is equal to solution 2 sub 0. Now let's shorten this a little bit and just put dict solution. And so now we can test this again. So let's say type of dict solution just to make sure we're at a dictionary. Yes, we are. And so that looks good. Now, dict solution now is going to contain our answer. And how do you access the answer? Well, we'll do a very similar thing like we're doing on lines 20 and 21 here with the print command. And so what we'll do is just say print, and I'll just say X solution this time. Leave a space, plus, we'll convert it to a string, and let's try dict solution, and instead of putting a 0 or 1 here, you put the key, which is the character before the colon. So if I put an X here, you can see we have 6. And I can do the same thing for the Y here. And so really you reference them not by the order like you would in a list, but you reference them by the keys. And so the value for, or the key for Y, the Y solution is just Y, and it returns the value stored with that key, which is the -1. And so that's just a little bit different way to access the results of the solve function inside of Sage there. Again, to kind of recap what we're doing here is we're putting in the option comma solution underscore dict equal to true. We saw in the documentation that it's usually set to false. And then that's generating a list of dictionaries. And so in this case, we just have a list of one item, one dictionary, if you will, one set of curly braces. And so we're getting the dictionary solution out by saying, hey, let's just grab the first item in the list. It starts at 0, so that's why we're putting the 0 there. We're just checking the type here in line 31 to show that, hey, it is a dictionary at this point. And then we can use the key values inside of the dictionary. Those are the X and the Y in this case, in order to get the values out. And then we're just printing them to the screen as we've done before. And so hopefully this helps you get a handle on the solve function inside of Sage. Thank you for watching the video.